Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my January 2023 book haul. So, I did fairly well for me. I only bought 11 books in January. Now, one of the books I did buy in January, but I didn't get it until February. And another book was supposed to come out on the 31st, and I haven't got it yet. So, anyway, so needless to say, there was a couple that will be going into February, so its numbers might be a little higher than I want it to be because some crossed over. But 11 books for me is really well done. I am keeping track more of, well, I mean, I was always, in the last 4 or 5 years, I have kept track of how much I'm spending, which is always a shock. So I'm hoping this year not to have the shock of how much I bought. But I'm also trying to be more selective about what I am buying. I haven't quite got to the point where I'm reading what I'm buying. But, you know, it's coming. I can only take so many things. So I do want to show 3 things that were bought in December that I didn't receive. I used Christmas money for these, so I bought them in the week between Christmas and New Year's, and I didn't receive them until later in January. So I'm just going to show these real quick. I did buy The Lord of the Rings in this great edition. I have not opened it yet, but has the red sprayed edges. I just love that. There's no reason for me to buy this. I already have a copy, or I have some other really nice copies, but it was just so pretty, and I kept seeing everybody have it, so of course I let myself buy it because at Christmas time, between Christmas and New Year's, it dropped in price, and so I bought it then. And I also bought the Silmarillion, which is one of the parts I have not read yet, so this is one I'm hoping to get to this year at some point. I'm going to do a reread of The Lord of the Rings. I did The Hobbit last year by reread on audio by Andy Serkis, and so I'm hoping to do the rest of The Lord of the Rings and then finish with the Silmarillion, which is done by somebody else, although I hear he's doing a version too, so I might end up buying that copy later. But I do want to get to the Silmarillion this year to finish up what I think is the core, the whole series sequence. I know there's all those other books too, but this is one I have never read. So, but it was so pretty. I'm sorry, the blue and the greens, I had to do it. But those are part of my Christmas money, as well as Blood Mercy, the first book in the Blood Grace series by Villa Ross. So this is a fantasy romance. I read the first 20 or 30 pages when I had Kindle Unlimited, and I did want to read it. I didn't have time at the time. I was trying to finish other books, and I got kind of caught up in some other series, namely Gideon the Ninth, or the Locked Tomb series. So I didn't have time to do this, and this is a really chunky book. But I did buy this in yeah, it's like 650 pages. So, and they're all big and chunky, but it's a series I keep hearing about for fantasy romance, following a woman who is I think she is the illegitimate daughter of the king, and then she's trying to, what do I want to say? She's trying to work with the diplomat who's coming from I think they're kind of fae. I don't know what I don't remember what the other side is. He's there as a diplomat, and she's trying to make some kind of deal. So that's about all I know on this one. And it was good from what I read. I just didn't get very far into it. I just didn't have time. But I did buy the first one because I knew I was going to get rid of Kindle Unlimited, and I just didn't, because I didn't have time. But I'm hoping to pick this up sooner rather than later, because this is a series, another fantasy romance series I would like to try. And so I just bought it. And again, it was Cry Christmas money. So that was not the last of my Christmas money. The last of the Christmas money that I let myself buy books with. Does that make sense? Anyway, so I did spend a little bit on those, but I'm really not mad about it, I guess. I didn't need them, but anyway. Okay, so now let's talk about February. I know, quite a few minutes, or not February. It's January. It was January's book haul. We're in February, but you know, anyway, let's just go into it. I bought 2 nonfiction books. Both of them have to do with writing. One was a pre-order of Write It All Down, How to Put Your Life on the Page by Kathy Zenbrick. And so I think this is more talking about just getting yourself to write down things. I don't know how, fiction, nonfiction. I just had heard about it, and I got this from Blackwell's, so it came whenever it was published. and sent to me. So I do want to read that. It's just a different writing kind of manual thing. I just like to read a lot of those. And I also bought Shut Up and Write the Book by Jenna Moreci, who is on YouTube, and I've watched a lot of her videos on writing. So this is a step-by-step guide to crafting your novel from plan to print. So again, she is a self-published author, and I just like her. She's just really fun. And I was pretty much supporting her in buying the book. But I will read it. I mean, I'm going to read it. I'm hoping to read these sometime more in March, because I think I'll be reading a lot of fiction, a lot of big fiction books. But I thought if I read these 2 nonfiction writing books, I might be ready for Camp NaNoWriMo in April, and maybe I'll write again. I need to write. And I'm just trying to find ways to make myself do that. So I might be reading those in the near future. On a whim, I did go to Barnes & Noble during the month. I let myself have a day to go there, so I bought a couple books from there. The first one is a mystery, is Road of Bones by Christopher Golden. So this was one of their books of the month, and it just sounded so interesting that I got it. So I don't know a whole lot about it, but it has to do with like a documentary team going to Siberia about this road of bones where people died, and I'm thinking it's going to go badly. This might be actually horror. I thought it was because it was St. Martin's. I was thinking it was mystery, I think it was their mystery pick. So I don't know, but I don't know if anybody's read this. It just sounds really interesting. This is definitely a book I want to get to. I hope to pick it up before the end of the month. It didn't happen, but I do want to if I don't pick it up before March, it'll be in my March Mystery Madness, I'm pretty sure, because it just sounds so cool. It just sounds different and out there. I did pick up the last book in the Jack West Jr. series by Matthew Riley, the One Impossible Labyrinth. I own them all now. I still need to catch up and finish this series. This is a 7-book series. I've read the first 4, but then I had to wait for books to come out, and it took a while because it was time. Had to wait. So I reread the first one. Did I read it last year or the year before? I don't remember. I just reread the first one, and then I meant to continue my reread. But I will hopefully at some point this year I will pick up, because I'll be in an adventure mood, because these are more military adventure kind of things. They're people who are seeking out mysteries from history's past, but they're like all have military backgrounds, and so they're like people from different countries who are banded up, and different countries are banded up together to fight against other ones. The Americans are very much one of the bad guys in the earlier books. I don't know about this one. This is book 7. I have no idea what this is about, and I'm not going to look at it because, again, that's too far from where I've read. So as I said, I'm going to try to pick up books 6 Warrior something. I don't remember what it is. It's going to be in here. 6 Sacred Stones. It was the 5 Greatest Warriors is 5. And then I think, actually, now that I think about it, I might have only read 3 before. Anyway, point is a 7-book series I would like to get back to. And I bought the last one because I just never saw it come out in paperback, so I bought it from Blackwell's as well. On vacation, last weekend, I went to Seaside with my family, and I picked up this book. I think I picked up another book too. What else did I pick up? Oh, I did. It's in one of the other categories. Sorry. So this was, I think this is considered kind of sci-fi. This is How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. So this is, about 2030, and there is I think there's some kind of some old virus is released on the world from Antarctica, I believe, or the Arctic Circle. Sorry, the Arctic Circle. So anyway, I don't know. I hear it's kind of like interconnected stories within the whole novel, but I hear so many good things about this, and I've been wanting to get this, but I wanted to wait till paperback, and I actually saw this at this independent bookstore in Seaside, Oregon. So I thought, hey, I'll just buy it now and support them, and also get a book that I've been wanting to read. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. If you've read it, let me know. And then I bought a couple more books at Barnes & Noble. When I bought the mystery, I bought 3 fantasy books. All they're all starts of a series. Why do I do this to myself? Anyway, so I finally picked up The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. I did try this in a from the library at one point, and I didn't have time last year when I picked it up. So I only read like the first chapter, but I was intrigued and I had to give it back to the library. So I never got around to it. So I waited till paperback, and I know the second book is just coming out or just came out. I think it's just gonna come out soon. So I think it's a trilogy. And so we're following Justice, who is traveling the lands, and his clerk, I think is what she is, or his apprentice or whatever. She is the one telling the story. So it's told from her point of view of some weird things happen when they go to this one area, and one of the people in charge there, I think dies or something. Something happens. And then it just kind of starts some kind of revolution. I don't know. It's the first book in the Empire of the Wolf. So I've been wanting to get to that. So I bought that. I did also buy The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. So this is the first in another trilogy. I think it's a trilogy. And then this one is more, I think it's more, more Midwestern, not Midwestern, another part of the world, which my brain is not coming out. So I'm pretty sure this is, a desert fantasy. I don't know what it's about though. Like, I've just heard about it. I know, I think there's a criminal who it saves somebody's life and then somehow gets wrapped up in something else going on. I'm not quite sure. I just think it's really pretty. But it's a book that I've heard since it came out in hardback. It was one of the ones I did, again, another one I wanted to try and read, and I just bought it because I did a lot of the buy one, get one 50% off that weekend. And the last one that I got that weekend that I went to let myself go to Barnes & Nobles, which I should let myself go for a while, is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. So this one is definitely one I picked up more of on a whim. It was one of those ones where when it first came out, I heard a lot of mixed reviews, and maybe there probably still are a lot of mixed reviews, but then recently I've seen more people talk about it and enjoy it. So I just took a chance on it. Again, I was doing the buy one, get one 50%. So anyway, I know this one has to do with two people, I think we're from one area, and then something happened, like I don't know if they didn't like each other, but there's some girls going missing, and I think there's a mystery with that, but there's also some elemental spirits of some sort. I don't know. I think it's only a duology, and I think it's out now, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's only the first two books in the series. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure the second one just came out in hardback. So anyway, another first book in a series. If you know anything about any of those, what I should pick up sooner rather than later, let me know. I did pick up the next book in the Ilona Andrews series. So this is called the Willingham Years. So this is a new kind of spin-off. Like, it takes place between after the whole Kate Daniels series by Ilona Andrews. And this is, so don't read this until you've read the whole series and actually read Blood Heir, I think, comes after this. So technically in the timeline, this is before Blood Heir, which is following other characters from this world. But it's definitely, you want to read, I think, Iron Covenant, right? I don't know. I'm pretty sure. But the point is that this is not, you don't read this until you've read like the whole series. And I mean that. Just read everything. So anyway, I have no idea about this. I'm hoping to read this fairly soon. I'm going to hopefully talk T and all the books into reading it with me pretty soon, because I'd really like to see what goes on in this one, because we read the Kate Daniels series together in 2021. Is that right? And we read the whole series, so we're caught up. So this is the new one. We need to get to this. So Tia, we need to read that. Anyway, we're reading other things right now. Don't get me wrong, but we need to get to that. And then the other book I got at the coast in Seaside was Scorpia, I think is how it's said. And it's the first book in a series. I don't know. It's called the Five Queendom Book 1. So I don't know how many is supposed to be in this book, but it was a debut epic fantasy novel. And so I was trying to support the bookstore. So I picked up something that has been I put on my want to read on Goodreads. It popped up a couple times when there were giveaways. Of course, I didn't win any of the giveaways, but it sounded interesting. Another desert fantasy. And it has to do with, I think, a world where there are not many women born. but I think they're in a place of power because there's not that many women, and I don't know anything beyond that. It's really cool looking. Again, I bought some books this month that I would say that were not really on that I was planning on, but this one looked kind of cool, so I bought it anyway. And then the last one was one I meant to read in January once I got it, but I was reading other series and other things. But it's definitely one I'm going to pick up fairly soon because it's so short and it is a series I adore. And that is Lost in the Moment and Found by Shauna McGuire. This is book 8 in the Wayward Children series. So this is a portal fantasy where we get books where kids are either have come back from their worlds that they have discovered when they go through portals and through doorways. And then there are other books where we get to see those worlds and actually see the children while they're in it. And then what happens, how they get expelled from it normally. So this one is following a character we met, I think in book 7. I've thought about rereading book 7. Book 7 is something about the drowning. I can't think of what it's called. The Drowning Deep. Where the Drowned Girls Go. So I read that last year and just adored it. Definitely one of my favorite books last year. It was one of my favorite books in the whole series. I am one of those people in the camp of the first book is still my favorite of all. And I don't know if it's just because it was the entry point. First book is still my favorite, but I would say Where the Drowned Girls Go was like my second. So I would really like to read this, but I think I'm going to I might reread that one and then read this one because I believe someone said that the girl who who can find things, I think is it, or goes to a place that can find things, some kind of shop. I'm not sure. I don't want to know anything. I just hear it might be devastating. So I might read the other book before I reread that one and then read this one. So anyway, but those are all the books that I bought. Man, I talk too much. Anyway, that I bought in February not February. God, I don't know what month this is. January. These are all the ones I got in January. The 3 books that were paid for and count towards 2022. Those 3 big books don't count for this, but 11 books I bought. I have not read any of them yet. I do have plans to read several of them in the next few months, so hopefully that'll go well. I did make mistakes, as in buying 3 books that are the first book in series. And the other ones, I mean, they're all within series or they're standalone. So I actually, because if you count the one from December, also that was another starter series. Anyway, the point is that I'm not doing good on that whole not buying the first book in series. That is one of my favorite things to do, is to buy a book with the potential of a new series. So, well, anyway, we'll see what happens. Anyway, if there are any of these books you think I need to read sooner rather than later, let me know. As I said, I have a lot to choose from. So if there's something you really want to have me read or you've read and really enjoyed, let me know and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.